Let's move on to class. So last class we discussed what is Docker and what is Docker and what is the difference, what is VM machines, and the main thing is what is difference between VM and containers. So interview also most of the people they are asking so that question only. Now today we will see a continuation. Now come to here what is a monolithic architecture. Monolithic means as of now we are creating one uh, Java project, and with the Jenkins we are generating artifact files. Which file it is generating? Var file, right? Var file means the entire project in only single file. So this is nothing but monolithic application. This is nothing but monolithic application. So there is a real time mostly we are using so two types of application. One is monolithic and the second one is microservices. Is monolithic. Monolithic means entire project in only one file, one jar file or var file, whatever it may be. So whatever it may be. If you go to here, this is the monolithic. Monolithic means so this is the we are generating a var file or jar file or anything or ER file. So this file we are going to deploy one server. Which server we deployed as of now? You know, right? So this is the deployed into one server. So which server you deployed? Tomcat server, right? Clear? Tomcat server or
Yes,
Nginx
sir.
server, whatever it may be. So here one thing we need to understand, monolithic means entire project only single file. Entire project only single file. So entire project in only single file. So here we deployed into Tomcat server. Tomcat so server. So this is the monolithic. Monolithic means now understand this is a browser. From browser if we send any request and the request go to Apache and this is a war file. In the war file, what data in this war file means? మనకి ఏముంటుంది war file లో source code, right? Entire. This is nothing but store front end UI. What are the services available in the project? And everything it is in same. Everything it is in same. Everything it is in same file. Everything it is in same file. This is simply we are calling source code. Okay. So entire even front end, back end, front end controller. Simply we are following MVC, model view controller. This is architecture, and here we are using some front end tools. JSP we are using, HTML we are using, HTML we are using. There is many tools, and so here we can use Servlet, JSP, whatever. These are the Java serv servlets and Spring Boot. Now mostly we are using Spring Boot, right? Spring Boot and Hibernate. But these are the many, right, controllers, front end tools and back end tools. Everything we can generating only one file. That is a monolithic. So only entire entire project it is generating only one file, var file. That var file we are going to deploy the Tomcat server. This is a monolithic. See here, monolithic architecture means different dependencies requirements for each service, long setup times, different dev test prod environments. Whatever we want, we can. Same only. Setup is web servers, database servers, orchestration we are using. This is monolithic. So what is the main thing is simple to develop, simple to deploy, and easy to debug it, and error tracing, simple to test, less costly. Difficult to understand and modify, tightly coupled. So these are the some basic points. Now, nowadays, mostly we are using microservice architecture. You know, right? Kubernetes. Now this is very simple in live. Monolithic architecture means entire project it is generating only one file. Got it, Karthik? Entire project it is generating only one file, that is var file or jar file or er file. Clear? So that file we are going to deploy any server. So whether it might be Tomcat server, JBoss server, WebLogic server, Jetty server, any server. Now, suppose if you go to here monolithic, what is the disadvantage? Suppose I want to modify the some classes. Even if you go to here, this is the entire file, right? I want to modify account service files. Again, we have to generate a new file, right? Again, it is build the project. Again, it is generating artifact file. Everything again recreate, right? But these same services we are going to deploy different ways. So that case we go for microservices. See here, this is the one service. This is the one service. This is the inventory service, shipping service, store UI front stories. Just assume for understanding purpose only. So here four services in my project. This entire four services we are creating only one file, var file. Suppose if you want to change any one service, can you generate only for this service any var file? No, right, Karthik? Again, we are creating a entire project build only, correct? అర్థమవుతుందా? ఇప్పుడు దీంట్లో ఏది చేంజ్ చేసినా మళ్ళీ ఏమవ్వాలి?
Yes.
మళ్ళీ మనకి ఒక న్యూ ఫైల్ జనరేట్ అవుతుంది, వార్ ఫైల్. మళ్ళీ అన్ని మోడల్స్ని టచ్ చేయాలి అంటే క్రియేట్ అవుతుంది. ఇప్పుడు నేను మాడిఫై చేసేది ఒక ఫైల్, ఈ సర్వీస్ని. I don't want to disturb this and all. So that case we should go for microservices. See here, microservices architecture. And every service we are deploying different way. See here, account service, inventory service, shipping service. For each service we have one DB, and how these services are connecting each other with the help of API gateway. This is a REST API. So whenever if you send a request, the request go to store front end web application. From that, which service you want to call. So if you send request related this service, directly it will go to this service, or directly it will go to this service. How these services are connecting each other? With the help of API gateway. With the help of API gateway. Suppose if you want to modify anything, for example, I want to modify inventory services. Do I need to deploy? Do you want to deploy this thing again? Account service, shipping service, Karthik? ఇప్పుడు నేను దీన్ని ఒకటే మాడిఫై చేశాను. దీన్ని ఒకటే మాడిఫై చేసినప్పుడు ఇవి కూడా డిప్లాయ్ చేయాలని అవసరం లేదా?
అవసరం లేదు.
అవసరం లేదు. బికాస్ హియర్ ఈచ్ అండ్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్ సపరేట్, రైట్? సో హియర్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్ ఇన్ సింగిల్ ఫైల్. హియర్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్ ఇన్ సింగిల్ ఫైల్. If you modify any service, again we have to create our new jar file, var file. But here not like that. So each and everything we are deployed separately. See, this is the one service. This is the one service. This is the one service. Suppose if you modify anything here, no need to touch this service, no need to touch this service. Only we are going to deploy this service only. But how these services are interconnecting? With the help of API gateway, REST API only. REST API. This is the web services. With the help of web services, all services are connecting. This is the microservices architecture. Now we know, right, a Kubernetes. You know, right? K8s or Kubernetes. What is this? This is the microservices architecture. Which one? Kubernetes following microservices. Now everything we are deploying separately. If you want to modify, simply we can modify whatever you want. See here, microservice and VMs. See, what is hypervisor? So last class we discussed, right? What is hypervisor means? Here first class we discussed. This is the hypervisor software. What is this hypervisor? Hypervisor is nothing but this is the one software. Is a software that create and run virtual machines, also known as guest OS. So this is the guest OS, and actual OS is host OS. So now we know, right? So this is the hardware devices. On top of hardware, this is the operating system. This is the host. On top of we are going to deploy, we are going to create a hypervisor software. Next, we are going to create VM machines. Clear? So now this is the hypervisor. This is the guest OS, and this is the host OS, main OS. So last class we discussed, right? Same thing. See here, hardware and operating system, and this is the hypervisor. This is the guest OS, and we are creating multiple VM machines. With the help of hypervisor, we are going to create multiple VM machines for multiple applications, whatever you want. I hope you got it, right? Clear? Any doubt, Karthik?
Clear.
Okay.
Clear.
Now see here. Now it isolate the hypervisor operating system and resources from the virtual machines, enable the creation and management of VM machines. So what is the main purpose hypervisor? With the help of hypervisor, we can create VM machines and we can deploy your application. Hypervisor treat host resources. Can you put on mute, please? Karthik, mute level. Like a CPU, memory, and storage. Hypervisor treats host resources, CPU, memory, storage. Whatever you want, we can. And so these are. So generally, there is two type of hypervisors. Type 1 hypervisors called bare metal, and second one is hosted. Run as the software layer on the operating system. Example: virtual box, VM machines, and all. And if you want to Microsoft Hyper-V and VMware XI, these are the types. Whatever. So we can use anyone. We can use anyone. Anyway, nowadays we are not going to use this one. We are using directly microservice, right? We are using directly microservices. Now see here how it will work and all this is. Now if you go to here, there is see here, this is the decoupling. So what is different? Microservices based on application, how it will work. So this is the decoupled and pros and cons and ensure continuous delivery and the deployment of large complex applications. Suppose if we have any large complex application and so we can use and better testing, we can test the fastest way.
So decoupled means.
Decoupled means so here, right? These are the services. How we are working, right? So here how this working, how we are coupling. Now got it. All services only
Yes,
single
sir.
file. But if you come to here, each and everything separation, decoupled. Okay, with the help of REST API only it is connecting. Clear?
Yes, sir.
All are separation, all are separate. Now we are connecting with the help of REST API or API gateway. But here this is a couple, everything in same file only. Now got it.
Yes,
అంటే
sir.
మొత్తం అన్ని కంబైన్ చేసాం సింగిల్ ఫైల్లో ఎంటైర్ యువర్ ఎంటైర్ ప్యాకేజ్ ఇస్ సింగిల్ ఫైల్. హియర్ నాట్ లైక్ దట్. డీకపుల్డ్ మీన్స్ సపరేషన్. దిస్ ఈజ్ వన్, దిస్ ఈజ్ వన్, దిస్ ఈజ్ వన్, దిస్ ఈజ్ వన్. హౌ దీస్ ఆర్ కనెక్టింగ్ with the help of REST API. In interview also one guy asked, so microservice means we are going to deploy different services, right? How one service communicate with other service? Now what is the answer? ఈ సర్వీస్ ఎలా కమ్యూనికేట్ అవుతున్నది?
Decoupled.
This is a REST API. How we are connecting? See here, REST API. ఇప్పుడు దీంతో కనెక్ట్ అవ్వాలి, దీంతో కనెక్ట్ అవ్వాలి. సో REST API. So this is the web services. This is the web service. Okay. With the help of web service, one service easily communicate with the other service. ఇప్పుడు మనకి సింపుల్గా జస్ట్ అజ్యూమ్, ఇప్పుడు మనకి ఇండియన్ బ్యాంక్ ఉంది, ఏటీఎం ఉంది. నా నెక్స్ట్ నాకు ఐసిఐసి బ్యాంక్ ఏటీఎం ఉంది. నా ఇండియన్ బ్యాంక్ ఏటీఎంని ఐసిఐసి బ్యాంక్లో యూస్ చేయొచ్చా, యూస్ చేయకూడదా?
Church.
చేయొచ్చు. ఎలా వర్క్ అవుతుంది అది? ఇంతకు ముందు ఇఫ్ యూ గో బ్యాక్ 20 years బ్యాక్, అప్పుడు ఎలా వాడుతా ఉన్నారు? ఇండియన్ బ్యాంక్ అంటే ఓన్లీ ఇండియన్ బ్యాంక్ ఏటీఎంఏ యూస్ చేయాలి, కరెక్ట్? ఐసిఐసి అంటే
Yes, sir.
ఐసిఐసి బ్యాంక్లోనే యూస్ చేయాలి. బట్ దట్ టైమ్ సో వీఆర్ ఫాలోయింగ్ మోనోథిక్ అప్లికేషన్. Now we are using so API, REST API, that is web services. Simply we are calling web services. This is actually one service, web service. Web service. So web service means, see, web service is a software system that support interoperable machine to machine interaction over the network. ఒక మిషన్ ఇంకొక మిషన్తో కనెక్ట్ అవ్వాలంటే ఎలా ఏం కమ్యూనికేట్ చేస్తుంది? వెబ్ సర్వీస్ కమ్యూనికేట్ అవుతుంది. నౌ దిస్ ఈస్ ద ఇండియన్ బ్యాంక్ ఏటీఎం, దిస్ ఈస్ ద ఐసిఐసిఐ బ్యాంక్ ఏటీఎం. నౌ హౌ దిస్ ఏటీఎం కనెక్ట్ విత్ దట్ ఇండియన్ బ్యాంక్ సర్వర్, కనెక్ట్ విత్ ఐసిఐసిఐ సర్వర్? హౌ ఐసిఐ సర్వర్ ఈస్ కనెక్ట్ విత్ ద ఇండియన్ బ్యాంక్ సర్వర్? నౌ గాట్ ఇట్. ఇవన్నీ ఎలా కనెక్ట్ అవుతాయి? విత్ ద హెల్ప్ ఆఫ్ రెస్ట్ ఏపీఐ ఓన్లీ, విత్ ద హెల్ప్ ఆఫ్ రెస్ట్ ఏపీఐ ఓన్లీ. సో వెబ్ సర్వీసెస్ వాడతారు. సో నౌ బికాస్ ఆఫ్ వెబ్ సర్వీసెస్ వీ కెన్ యూజ్ ఎనీ ఏటీఎం సెంటర్. That server automatically it will connect to another server and whatever you want, it is so transaction is going, and if you want to create, if you want to debit, whatever you want, we can do. I hope you got it right, Karthik.
Yes,
So
sir.
now entire it is connecting via with the help of web services only. So now see here. Now see here. Where is this? What is the in latest decoupling parts? See, Kubernetes create also persistent volume object through the API, and when the cluster is created, you don't know, right? Kubernetes, leave that one. Decoupling means separation. See here, separate from the someone or something else. Each and everything we are separation, correct? So that is what we are following here, microservices, right? Now got it. See, separation. Decoupling means separation. Each and everything separation. So how these are connecting? With the help of REST API only. Clear, Karthik? Decoupling means separation. Simply remember separation. Clear? Hello?
Clear, sir.
So this is the help of now if you
Yes.
know Kubernetes, so we can easily understand. So how these all are, how we are going to deploy like this, how these parts are connecting, how this application connecting one service to another service, we can easily understand. Now this is a simple overview. Now you understand what is a monolithic application and what is microservices. What is microservices? Microservices means decoupling. Each service we are going to deploy separately. Monolithic means all services we are going to deploy only one file, whether that is war file, ER file, or jar file. Clear? Now coming to
Yes, sir.
here, so now we'll see what is Docker. So actually, this is a Docker is an open source. This is also open source. So this is also open source. This is official website. If you want to know anything, if you want to know anything, this is the official document. This is the official document. See here, docs.docker.com. So if you click on this, and so entire, so we can whatever you want, everything we can so learn in this website only. So this is very simple. We can easily understand. Very simple, and we can easily understand how it will work. Now, so first, what is so Docker, right? So what is Docker means? If you type here, now it will give many. So overview of Docker, and see here, this is the Docker acceleration. What is Docker container and architecture and all? We'll see what are the main components here and how it will work. I think my network slow. Suppose if you have any problem, please let me know. We'll see. It is opening very slow, right? There is get started. Mm, 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 mm. This is installation part and all. We don't want. Overview. See here. First, we'll see what is Docker. Now, see here. Interview also, most of the people they are asking. If someone is asking what is Docker, Docker is an open platform for developing, shipping, running your application with the containerized based. So, Docker is the open source platform for developing, shipping, running application. Docker enables to you separate your application from your infrastructure. So we can deliver software quickly. Docker can with Docker you can manage your infrastructure also. With the Docker we can manage your infrastructure also. Same thing I can explain here. We can see that also. Now if you observe here what is Docker. So before Docker how it will work, after Docker how it will work. First we'll see. See here before Docker. So a developer sends code to tester, but it does not run on the tester system due to the various dependency issues. However, it works fine in the development environment. Now see here, if you come to here, so before Docker, how people are following. Now see here. So there is, if you go to here, see new, don't save. So this is the development environment. This is the development environment. And this is the testing environment. And this is the testing environment. Now try to understand here. This is the development. Okay. So developer develop the code, dev environment, and env. This is the test environment. Correct. So here developer develop the code. Developer keep on working here only, right? I hope you know. So developer keep on working here only. Once development is done, this code will move to testing environment. So in this environment, everything working fine. In this environment, the code is working fine. The code is working fine. There is no issues. In this environment, the code is fine. There is no issues. Okay. So in this environment, code is fine. There is no issues. If we deploy same code into test environment, maybe some dependencies failed. Maybe some failed. Why it is failing? This is different operating system. This is different operating system. Now we got it. Clear, Karthik?
Yes,
So
sir.
if development అనేది ఒక environment, this is
Yes,
also
sir.
one server, dev server. So this is also one server. Now developer develop the code. Whatever they developed, everything working fine in development environment. If I move the same code to testing environment, some cases, maybe some dependencies, some functionality, it won't work properly. So this is a big headache for testers and developers. To overcome this problem, see here, developers send code to tester, build, it does not run the tester system. After Docker, see, as a tester, developer, now we have the same system during the Docker container. They both are able to run the application in the Docker environment like this. See here, the code work absolutely fine. If you deploy same code to testing environment, it is not working. There is a problem because this is the different mission. This is different mission. And in this mission, the server is running. In this mission also server is running. Maybe some dependencies issues, maybe version problem, maybe some functionality it won't work properly. So to overcome this problem, now we come to Docker. Now we come to Docker. See here, after Docker, whatever we developed, everything working fine. Same thing here also it is working fine. There is no issues. Sir, how it possible? Now understand, right? So this is the just assume this is without containerization. Without containerization means this is the two VM missions. Just assume this is the one VM mission and this is another VM mission. So might be here configuration different. So might be here configuration different. But if we come to Docker, now how Docker is working? So this is the hardware devices and this is the software OS and host OS. On top of we are going to create the Docker. On top of we are creating the containers, but all are in same machine or not? But in this case, so in this case, this is the hardware devices, this is the software, this is the software, and here we are going to install the hypervisor. On top of we are installing this is the one VM machine, and this is also one VM machine. Correct? Clear, Karthik? Any doubt here?
No, sir.
This mission is different, this mission is different. Maybe here configuration is different, here configuration is different. So that is the reason maybe some functionality it won't work properly. But this is, see here, this is the same. This is the hardware devices. So this is the hardware devices. So this is the hardware. And here this is the operating system. Same operating system. This is the operating system. And this is the Docker. So Docker is running same operating system, right? But here this is the host operating system. This is the host operating system. This is the guest OS. What is this? Guest OS, right? So because of this, there is
Yes, sir.
problem. Guest OS. Now here only single OS on top of Docker is running. with the help of Docker, we are creating multiple containers. So whichever working running here, same thing it is running here also. There is no problem. Is there any way environment changed? నాకు ఏదైనా మిషన్ చేంజ్ అయిందా? No, right? Same operating system, same Docker. With the Docker, we created multiple containers. So this is the dev environment, just assume. And this is the test environment. Okay, but all are running same with on top of base OS only. On top of base OS only. Whatever configuration here, same thing applicable here, and the same thing applicable here also. There is no failures. I hope you got it right. Any doubt here? How it will work?
No, sir.
So that is the reason we go for Docker. Now see here, Docker is a software development tool. Docker is a open source platform, and it is why you go for what is Docker? So now here already we seen, right? Docker is a open platform for developing, shipping, and running your application with containerized based. See here, and virtualization technology that makes easy to deploy, and manage application by using containers. And what is containers? We'll see how it is working. So containers means so now if you observe here, I want architecture. Docker architecture. Okay. Now, if you go here, mm, now see here. Now, if you go here, now how it will work? See here. So, Docker is a software development tool. Docker is a open source platform. Whatever you want, just remember one or two lines. So, Docker is a software development tool. Docker is a open source. Docker is a open source, open platform for developing, shipping, run your application with containerization based. Now, if you go here, these are the main terminology. So now if you understand here, Docker architecture, this is very, very important. In interview also, most of the people, they are asking. In, right, Jenkins. So what is Jenkins architecture and what is Jenkins master and slave architecture and how it will work? I hope you are familiar on that, right? Same way, interview they are asking what is a Docker architecture also, and they are asking like a different way also. Can you explain major components in Docker? That is based on interview. They are asking different questions. Can you explain Docker architecture, or can you explain main components in Docker? So based on interview, they are asking different way. So but all are same only. Now see here. So Docker uses client server architecture. Which server it is following? Client and server architecture. And Docker client talks to the Docker daemon. So this is the client. This is the client. It is following a client and server architecture. So this is the client and this is the server. Okay. Now Docker client talks to Docker daemon. This is the daemon. See here. This is the daemon. Daemon is the main role here. Daemon is the main role here. If any request comes from Docker client, so who will receive first? Docker daemon, like a front office, like front office. Okay. If anyone go, if you go any office, first where you go? Only front office, right? They are asking whom do you want to contact and which purpose we came here. Okay. And that they are asking some information, right? Same way. If you send any request via client and the request go to whom? Docker daemon, like front office. Now we'll see one by one. See, which does a heavy lifting of building, running, and distributing your Docker containers. Docker client and daemon can run on the same system, but client and Docker server, client and daemon both are running same missions only. Both are running same missions only. So if you are mostly both are running same missions only. Now see here, or you can connect a Docker client to remote Docker daemon also. Suppose if your Docker daemon is running any remote mission, and that case also it will work. But we need to connect that mission. And Docker client and daemon communicate using REST API only. Communicate with the REST API over the Unix sockets or network interfaces. So this is the some basic. So this is the client and this is the Docker host. This is the client and this is the Docker host. Now if you observe here, so these are the main components. See here, this is the client. Client is nothing but who operate the commands, who send the request. I am the client. If I send any request, the request go to Docker daemon. Who will receive our request? Docker daemon only. Docker daemon only. Now observe here. It does heavy lifting, building, running, distributing Docker containers. Docker client and daemon are can run the same system. And if you send any request, for example, I am sending some commands like Docker run, Docker build, Docker pull. So these are the Docker commands. If you execute any command, first the request go to whom, guys? Whom, Karthik? ఎవరికి వెళ్తుంది రిక్వెస్ట్?
Docker
ఎస్, దిస్ ఇస్ లైక్ డాకర్ డీమాన్. దిస్ ఇస్ ద లైక్ ఫ్రంట్ కంట్రోలర్ అండ్ డాకర్ డీమాన్ నోస్ వాట్ యు ఆర్ ఎక్స్పెక్టింగ్. దీనికి తెలుసు నువ్వు ఏ కమాండ్ రన్ చేసావు. బేస్డ్ ఆన్ దిస్, ఇన్ హియర్ వీ కెన్ సీ ఎక్స్ట్రా ఫ్యూ ఆర్ కాంపోనెంట్స్, డాకర్ ఇమేజెస్, డాకర్ కంటైనర్స్, అండ్ దీస్ ఆర్ ద రిజిస్ట్రీస్. దీస్ ఆర్ ద రిజిస్ట్రీ. So these are the images, these are the extensions, these are the plugins. There is many things available here, but these are the some major components in Docker. So Docker client, Docker daemon, images, containers, registry. So you have to remember these words: Docker client, Docker daemon, images, containers, registry, containers, registry. And these are the images, multiple images we can use. Now if you send any request, see same story.
registry means
Registry means we are uploading images. That is a third party. You are using Nginx, right? Multiple images. You know, right? HTTPD. Already sir explained, right? HTTPD, Nginx, some images, other images. Nginx ఇన్స్టాల్ చేస్తారు లేదా? సార్ చెప్పుంటాడు ఆల్రెడీ.
yes, sir.
HTTPD, Nginx, HTTPD. So these are the different images available. Okay. So whatever you want, so we can. This is the image. These all are the images, but this is separate registry images available. We can maintain. We can understand what is this registry and where we can upload these images and all. We can see. Now if you see here, now we know what client. Simply client means I am the client. I am sending one command. For example, I am go to here CMD. Now I am type here so Docker run command. Here who is the client? I am the client. If I run this request go to whom? ఎవరిని కాంటాక్ట్ అవుతుంది ఇది వెళ్ళి? డాకర్ క్లయింట్. క్లయింట్ అంటే నేను రన్ చేసే ఒక క్వరీ. ఈ క్వరీ ఎవరిని కాంటాక్ట్ అవుతుంది? కార్తిక్?
Docker host.
Daemon. This is the front light.
Yes,
మన
yes, sir.
any command, if you run any command, if you send any query, so the request go to whom first? Daemon. ఇప్పుడు మన ఆఫీస్కి వెళ్ళాము, ఇప్పుడు ఏదో ఇంటర్వ్యూకి వెళ్ళాం. ఇంటర్వ్యూకి వెళ్తే డైరెక్ట్గా పర్సన్ కాంటాక్ట్ అవుతావా, ఫస్ట్ ఫ్రంట్ ఆఫీస్కి వెళ్తావా?
Front office.
ఫ్రంట్ ఆఫీస్కి వెళ్తే వాడు చెప్తాడు, సో నువ్వు ఎవరిని కలాలి, వాట్ ఈస్ ద పర్పస్, వాడు క్వశ్చన్లు వేస్తాడు. సో దాన్ని బట్టి మనం చెప్పినావు అనుకో, వాడికి ఫోన్ చేసి నువ్వు రావాలన్నా నేను వెయిట్ చేయించి నేను పంపిస్తాడు వాడు పిలిచినప్పుడు. నవ్వు ఘాట్ ఇట్ట.
Yes, sir.
సేమ్ వే, ఇఫ్ యూ సెండ్ ఎనీ రిక్వెస్ట్, ఐఎమ్ ద క్లయింట్, డాకర్ క్లయింట్. ఇఫ్ యూ సెండ్ ఎనీ రిక్వెస్ట్, ద రిక్వెస్ట్ ఫస్ట్ గో టు డాకర్ డిమాండ్. డాకర్ డిమాండ్ తెలుసు, ఇప్పుడు ఫ్రంట్ ఆఫీస్ వాళ్ళకి అందరూ తెలుసు, ఆఫీస్లో మేనేజర్లు అందరూ తెలిసి ఉంటుంది, అవునా? ఇప్పుడు నేను వెళ్ళి ఐ వాంట్ మీట్ ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ రామ. ఇప్పుడు రామ అనేవాడు ఎవరు తెలిసి ఉంటుంది? ఫ్రంట్ ఆఫీస్ వాడు తెలిసి ఉంటుంది. ఎస్ ఆర్ నో? వాడికే తెలియకపోతే నేనెట్ట పంపిస్తాడు?
Yes, sir.
నో అండర్స్టాండ్ రైట్ పాయింట్?
Yes, sir.
Same concept here also. Now if we send any request, first the request go to Docker daemon. Docker daemon knows images ఎక్కడ ఉంటాయి, what are the images, what are the containers, what are the registries, plugins, extensions. Based on your request, the Docker daemon send that request to that particular part. See here, now we can understand. See, Docker daemon listens for Docker API request and manages Docker objects such as ఈ డాకర్ డిమాండ్ అనేది ఎవరు మేనేజ్ చేస్తుంది? See here, images. Docker daemon can handle images, containers, next networks, volumes. There is many, these are the new terminology we need to understand. So Docker daemon can manage, Docker daemon manages, Docker daemon the manages, what is this? Containers, images, volumes, networks, and apart from this all these things. And the daemon can also communicate with other daemons to manage the Docker services. Suppose if we have multiple Dockers, how one Docker communicate with another Docker? So that is also possible. A daemon can also communicate with other daemons to manage Docker services. Now clear? So simply understand, Docker daemon manage images, containers, networks, volumes, all these things, whatever you know. Now, if you go to here client, see here what is Docker client. Docker client is the primary way that many Docker users interact with the Docker. When you use commands such as Docker run, Docker pull, Docker search, the client send this command to Docker daemon, which carries them out. Docker command uses the Docker API, and Docker client can communicate with more than one Docker daemons also. So this is same story. If you send any request, even Docker run, Docker build, Docker push, whatever you want, which command. If you run any command, that command goes to Docker daemon. Docker daemon manages these all components, images, containers, volumes, networks, and this also, registry also. Now, based on your request, again it will send your response to particular user, end user. That is the client. That is the client. I hope you got it.
Yes, sir.
So interval also, now mostly you need to understand what is Docker client and what is Docker daemon. This is the end user. Client is nothing but I am the client. If నేను run చేసే query, I am client. Suppose if you run query, you are the client, and all queries go to daemon. Daemon managing these are the images. Images it is handling, containers it is handling, and what is this? Images, containers, volumes, networks, and all these plugins, extensions, whatever it may be. Everything it is handled by the this one. Now see here what is Docker desktop. We'll see later. Now Docker registries. Now see here there is a registry, right? What is this registry? See here, Docker registry store Docker images. Registry ఏం పెట్టుకోవచ్చు మనం? Images. Suppose I created one image, Tomcat image, or Jenkins image, or anything. Who is handling these images? Docker registry. In Docker Hub is the public registry. So actually here hub.docker.com. This is the public registry. See here hub.docker.com. Docker.com. This is the public registry. So if we have username password, we can connect with public Docker hub.docker. See here, already I have account, and now we can see images. So what is registry means? We can store your images simply. What is registry? We can store your images. We can store your images. Clear? Anyone any doubt?
No, sir.
ఒక్క నిమిషం. Sorry. Now here, right? What is this? Docker registries. What is Docker registry, Karthik? We can store Docker images. Registry nothing but we can store Docker images. There is public registries, private registries also available. So here Docker Hub is the public registry. So if you give your username password and we can log into, this is my public registry. So here I have many images and anyone can access my images. If you want to, we can use my images. Whenever if you need, see, this is my, see my account and this is the public registry, hub.docker.com, hub.docker.com, and we can store all images. Whatever you want, we can store. These all are my images. In real time also we are maintaining. But real time mostly we are maintaining private registry only. So there is no public. Public means anyone can access, right? If real time, if anyone access our images means there is no security. Clear, Karthik? So real time we are maintaining all are private only. Only authorized people can access, so they can use it. Okay, but this is a public. So simply what is registry? Registry, Docker registry stores the Docker images. That's it. Now go to here. What is Docker objects? So now here there is many objects. So these are the objects. Now observe here. So these are the objects. Now what are the objects? These all are the objects. Docker client, Docker daemon, images, containers, volumes, network. There is many things available here. See here. So when you use Docker, you can create using Docker images. We can create containers and we can create networks. We can create volumes. We can create plugins. We can use plugins, other objects. So these all are is related to Docker objects. These all are related to Docker objects only. And what is an image? Image is a read-only template with instruction for creating Docker containers. So interview also many people they are asking what is Docker image? What is Docker container? Very very important. So just note it one or two lines. What is Docker image? Simply Docker image is nothing but this is a read-only template with instructions for creating Docker container. What is Docker container? Now observe here. A container is a runnable instance of an image. What is container? Container is a runnable instance of an image. What is a image? Image is a read-only template with instructions. In this image, what we have, there is some instructions how to create container. This line is enough for interview purpose. They are not expecting all lines. Simply they are asking what is Docker image. Docker image is a nothing but read-only template with instructions for creating Docker container. What is Docker container? Docker container is nothing but runnable instance of an image. ఈ ఇమేజ్ కి మనం కంటైనర్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తాం కదా దట్ ఈస్ రన్నింగ్ రన్నబుల్ ఇన్స్టెన్స్ సీ హియర్ రన్నబుల్ ఇన్స్టెన్స్ ఆఫ్ అన్ ఇమేజ్ దట్ ఈస్ నథింగ్ బట్ కంటైనర్ you can create, we can start, we can stop, we can move, we can delete and containers using a Docker API or CLI command line interface. You can connect the container to one or more networks or we can attach the storage also. Whatever you want, we can do it. Now if you go here, what is image? Now right, image is an read-only template with instructions for creating Docker container. So an image is based on another image with some additional customized. Or so you might create your own images, or we can use existing images also. So that is created by others also. That is published in the registry. To build your own image, you can create Docker file. So with the help of Docker file, you can create your own image also. That images and all we can maintain your registry. So now these are the new words, guys. So these are the new words. First, try to remember all these things. So now we know some words. So Docker client, so Docker daemon, images, container, registry. I hope you got it right, Karthik. So first try to
Yes, sir.
understand, try to digest what are the new components. So Docker architecture. So now you know right Docker client. Now you know right what is Docker. Docker. These are the main components. Already we discussed right. Whatever we discussed, these are the main components. These are the main components. Next, images. Next,
Wish.
containers.
Okay.
Next, registry. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Registry. Next, plugins. Next was extensions. These are the main things. Now, now you know what is a Docker daemon. You know what is Docker daemon, what is container, what is image. So very simple answer. So just remember one line. So what is Docker daemon? Docker daemon listens Docker API, request and manage Docker objects. So Docker daemon can handle these all objects, images, containers, and registries, volumes, networks, everything. Docker daemon can also communicate with other daemons also. What is Docker client? Client is nothing but who run the command. Docker client is the primary way that many Docker users interact with the Docker. Docker users interact with Docker. I am the user. If you run any command, I am the client. If you run any command, that command goes to Docker daemon only. Now, what is Docker registry? So Docker registry means store Docker images. It will store Docker images. There is public registry, private registry. And what is Docker objects? So these are the images, containers, networks, volumes, plugins, other objects. These all are nothing but Docker objects. What is Docker image? Docker image is a read-only template. Docker image is a read-only template with instructions for creating a Docker container. What is Docker container? A container is a runnable instance of an image. That's it. A container is a runnable instance of an image. What is an image? Image is a read-only template with instructions for creating Docker image. Now, anyone any doubt here? Karthik, clear?
Yes, sir, clear.
So these are the some basic, the basic components in Docker. In interview also most of the people they are asking, can you explain Docker architecture? Now we have to explain these points, at least whatever you know. So this is the Docker client, Docker host, Docker daemon, registry, images, containers. So if you send any request, the request go to Docker daemon, and with the help of Docker daemon managing all Docker objects, that is images, containers, registries, extensions, plugins and all. So based on your request, and again we'll get response. And what is Docker daemon? You know what is client? You know, and what is registry? You know what is objects? What is image? What is containers? That's it. Remaining and all only remaining and all very simple. If you understand these uh, these components, if you understand what is what basic these all components, Docker is very simple, almost 60% complete. That's it. Remaining all are only commands only. So only commands. So as of now we discussed only theoretical how it will work, what is basic, what is the Docker, and what are the main components in Docker, and what is the Docker architecture, what is Docker container, what is image, what is daemon, what is client, what is registry and all. If you know this all these points, remaining classes very simple only. All are commands only, we can easily understand. So this is the basic minimum basic things we need to understand in Docker. I hope clear, Karthik. Any doubt here?
No, sir.
Okay. So just go through this document. This is the official document. Everything available here only. So everything available here only. Whatever you want, just search it here. Whatever you want, we can search it here, and we can easily understand. Okay. So yesterday one very important question. What is difference between the
Docker and
Docker container and
VMs.
VM machines? And today, what is Docker architecture? What are the main components in Docker? Now tell me a few names. Docker client, Docker host,
Docker
Docker
demo,
daemon, images,
images,
containers,
container,
registry,
registry,
plugins,
plugins, and
extensions.
extensions.
Okay, that's it. Now we know what is Docker container. Docker container is a runnable instance of image. Docker container is a runnable instance of an image. What is an image? Image is a read-only template with instructions for creating Docker image. Docker container. This line is enough for interview purpose. No need to tell anything. That's it. If someone is asking what is Docker image, Docker image is a read-only template with instructions for creating Docker image. Instructions for creating Docker container. That's it. That is nothing but Docker image. What is Docker image? Instructions for creating a Docker container. What is container? Container is a runnable instance. Container is a runnable instance of an image. That's it. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So next class I will set up Docker and all. Installation is very simple only. And next class I will show you how to install Docker and how to execute a few